Have you ever met someone who seems untouched by chaos? While storms rage, while arguments explode, while the world spins out of control, they remain calm, steady, almost magnetic in their stillness. It makes you wonder, what do they know that you don't? Now imagine if that person was you. Here's a truth no one really tells you. Peace is not a gift from the outside world. It's not something you get when life finally decides to be kind. Peace is a skill, an inner technology, built piece by piece, practice by practice. Most people think resilience means being unbreakable, never showing weakness, never falling apart. We grow up being told to toughen up, to push through, to keep smiling even when we're breaking inside. And so we build walls, thick, high walls, thinking they'll protect us. But walls don't make you stronger. They just isolate you. And eventually, when life hits hard enough, those walls crack. True resilience is not about never breaking. It's about knowing how to put yourself back together, wiser, softer, stronger. It's about learning how to bend without snapping, how to fall and rise again with more clarity than before. Think about bamboo in the wind. It doesn't fight the storm. It sways, it bends, it moves, but it does not break. Why? Because its strength comes from flexibility, not rigidity. Modern life doesn't teach us this. It trains us to live in constant battle mode, reacting to every problem, every news headline, every criticism. We burn through our energy as if it's endless until it's gone. And then we wonder why we feel fragile, anxious, and exhausted. Buddhist wisdom flips this on its head. It says, resilience is not a wall, it's a capacity. It's the ability to choose where your energy flows, to meet suffering with skill instead of panic, to remain rooted even when the ground is shaking. Let me ask you this. How much longer will you let circumstances decide your peace? How many more times will you give away your inner stability to things you can't control? Because the moment you stop handing over your peace to the outside world is the moment you start reclaiming your life. This doesn't mean ignoring pain. It means learning to sit with it, breathe through it, and listen to what it's trying to teach you. It means understanding that the heart can break and still beat with compassion, that your mind can feel fear and still choose clarity. Resilience in Zen isn't about winning against life. It's about becoming so anchored in your center that no storm can carry you away. You don't wait for the sea to calm before you sail. You learn to navigate even in the waves. And that's the truth about real resilience. It's not about being unbreakable, but about knowing how to return to wholeness every time life shatters you. So the question is, how do we build that kind of inner strength? In the Buddhist tradition, there's a timeless path, 8 core practices that can help you stay centered no matter what life throws at you. Let's explore them one by one. And that's the truth about real resilience. It's not about being unbreakable, but about knowing how to return to wholeness every time life shatters you. So the question is, how do we build that kind of inner strength? In the Buddhist tradition, there's a timeless path, 8 core practices that can help you stay centered no matter what life throws at you. Today, we'll begin with the very first one, radical acceptance. The first step to inner freedom. Most of our suffering doesn't come from what actually happens. It comes from our fight against what has already happened. We grip so tightly to the way we believe life should be that when reality takes a different turn, the pain intensifies. It's like trying to hold on to water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips away. Radical acceptance doesn't mean you approve of everything or that you give up on change. It means you stop arguing with reality long enough to see clearly what's in front of you. Only then can you respond with wisdom instead of reacting with resistance. Imagine walking through life with clenched fists, your expectations, your plans, your image of how things should unfold. Now picture opening those fists, letting the air move freely between your fingers. This is what radical acceptance feels like. Not passive, but open, adaptable, ready to meet life on its own terms. The moment you release the exhausting need to control what's already beyond your control, you reclaim all that energy to take meaningful action. You move from, this shouldn't be happening, to this is happening. Now what's my wisest move? And in that shift, a doorway opens. The doorway to peace that no circumstance can take away from you. Now that we've seen how true resilience isn't about never breaking, but about knowing how to put ourselves back together, there's something even deeper to explore. To sustain that strength, the mind needs a solid foundation, and that foundation isn't built in the mind alone. It begins in the very body that carries us through every moment of life, which is why, in today's journey, we move to the next step: nourishing the body, the gateway to deep inner peace. In Buddhism, the mind and body are not separate. They are two sides of the same reality. A calm mind cannot live in an exhausted body, and a healthy body is hard to maintain if the mind is restless. Your body isn't just a vehicle for the soul. It's the very place where emotions, stress, and peace all take root. Whenever the body is tense, breathing is shallow, or sleep is restless, the mind almost always slips into worry and overthinking. But when you care for your body wisely, you're laying the groundwork for a mind that can return to stillness. Practices like mindful breathing signal every cell in your body that it is safe. Walking meditation lets you anchor yourself in the present with each step. Active relaxation, releasing the shoulders, unclenching the jaw, softening the whole body, frees up energy trapped by invisible pressure. It's important to understand that caring for the body isn't just a side note in spiritual practice. It's central to it. When the body is well, the mind has the strength to listen, to observe, and to respond to life with clarity. Every nourishing meal is an act of gratitude toward yourself. Every deep sleep is a gift you give to your soul. When you begin to honor your body as part of your spiritual path, you'll see that inner peace doesn't just come from meditation or wisdom. It begins with the way you treat this very body, every single day. We have given our bodies the respect they deserve to nourish a peaceful mind. Yet no matter how strong the body is, it still needs a place to rest. And that place is the gentle embrace we offer ourselves. That is why the next practice will lead us back to the quiet strength of self-compassion. In Buddhist teaching, compassion is not just something we extend to others, it's something we must learn to offer ourselves. Yet for many of us, the voice inside our head is harsher than anything we would ever say to a friend. Think about it. When you make a mistake or fall short, what is your first reaction? For most, it's criticism. I should have known better. I'm not good enough. We believe this inner harshness will push us to do better, but in reality, it often keeps us stuck, afraid to try again, afraid to take risks. Self-compassion is not about letting yourself off the hook. It's about meeting your own pain with the same kindness you would give to someone you love. It's acknowledging, yes, I stumbled. Yes, I'm hurting, but I'm still worthy of care, patience, and understanding. When you replace self-criticism with a compassionate inner voice, you create a safe space within yourself, a space where growth can happen naturally. Research in modern psychology echoes this ancient truth. People who practice self-compassion recover faster from setbacks, have lower levels of anxiety, and are more resilient in the face of challenges. One powerful way to cultivate this is through mindful self-talk. The next time you face failure, pause. Place your hand gently on your heart. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, if my best friend were in this situation, what would I say to them? Then offer those words to yourself. Over time, this simple shift transforms the inner battlefield into a sanctuary. You begin to trust yourself again, not because you never fail, but because you know you will meet failure with wisdom and warmth instead of judgment. And in that trust, you find the courage to keep moving forward. We've explored how self-compassion can be the safe harbor we return to when life's storms wear us down. But even in that harbor, the tides keep moving. The world shifts, seasons turn, and nothing stays still. If we cling to the shoreline, we'll only feel the pull of the current tearing at us. And so our next practice invites us to meet the one truth that never changes, that everything changes. Embracing change isn't about pretending to enjoy every twist and turn. It's about understanding impermanence as the very nature of life. When we resist this truth, suffering grows, not because of the change itself, but because we demand life to stand still when it never will. The art here is flexibility, to adapt without losing your core values, to hold your preferences lightly so they don't shatter when reality takes a different path. Think of a tree in the wind. It sways, bends, and yields to the storm, yet its roots remain grounded. This is the balance we seek, a mind that flows with life while a heart stays anchored in what matters most. The more we practice this, the less life feels like a battle to win and more like a dance to join. And in that dance, we begin to discover a freedom far deeper than control. After learning to embrace change in our last practice, it's time to shift our focus toward direction. Change shapes the landscape of our journey, but the goals we set determine where we walk. Too often, we swing between two extremes, chasing massive goals that burn us out, or settling for ones so easy they keep us stagnant. As we continue this journey, we arrive at balanced goals, the Zen way to progress without burnout, a reminder that true progress isn't about sprinting until you collapse, nor is it about standing still in the name of comfort. In Zen Buddhism, balance is the art of finding the middle path, where effort meets rest and discipline flows alongside self-kindness. Think of a musician. If the strings are pulled too tight, they snap. If they are too loose, they cannot play a note. Your goals work the same way. When they are too extreme, you burn out. When they are too easy, you stagnate. The middle path is not mediocrity. It's the sweet spot where your energy is invested wisely, consistently, and sustainably. One way to practice this is to break big ambitions into small, steady steps. Each step completed is a quiet victory, building momentum without draining your spirit. Rest is not a sign of weakness here. It's a strategy for longevity. Just as the breath has both inhale and exhale, your growth needs both action and pause. Ask yourself, am I pushing because I'm inspired or because I'm afraid of falling behind? The first will carry you far. The second will wear you down. Zen teaches us that the most powerful progress happens when we're not at war with ourselves. When our goals invite us forward instead of dragging us by force. Balanced goals turn the journey itself into a source of joy, not just the destination. And when you walk this way, every step feels like coming home. After learning to walk the middle path with balanced goals, there comes another essential step: restorative activities, nurturing the inner life. Progress without inner nourishment is like tending a garden, but never watering the roots. Sooner or later, the bloom will fade. Restorative activities are not just taking a break or distracting yourself from stress. They are the quiet acts that return you to yourself, moments that carry presence and meaning. This could be standing beneath a canopy of trees, feeling the earth steady your breath. It could be painting, writing, or crafting something with your hands, not for praise, but for the joy of creating. For some, it's a spiritual practice, prayer, meditation, or simply sitting in stillness. The key is that these activities restore rather than drain. Many people confuse numbing out with true rest, hours scrolling on a phone, binge-watching shows, or filling every silence with noise. While these may offer temporary escape, they don't feed the soul. Restorative activities, on the other hand, replenish your emotional reserves and deepen your connection to life itself. Ask yourself, what activities make me feel whole? What helps me breathe easier, think clearer, and love deeper? Schedule these moments like you would an important meeting, because they are important. They are meetings with your own spirit. When you nurture your inner life consistently, you build a well of calm that doesn't dry up when life gets chaotic. And in that space, you find not only peace, but a deeper readiness to meet whatever comes next. And now we'll move together into the next part. Gratitude, the art of seeing the good that still remains. A gentle yet powerful shift in perspective that doesn't deny hardship, but expands our view to notice the quiet blessings that continue to exist alongside life's challenges. Gratitude in Zen is not about forcing ourselves to think positive or pretending everything is fine. It's about training the mind to hold a wider lens, one that captures both the shadows and the light. Life will always have its share of storms, but even within the rain, there can be the scent of earth, the sound of leaves, or the warmth of someone holding an umbrella for you. When we practice gratitude, we don't erase our pain. We simply stop letting it take up the whole frame. We begin to notice the friend who checks in, the breath that still flows without effort, the meal that nourishes us, the small acts of kindness that otherwise slip by unnoticed. You can start with something as simple as naming 3 things you are grateful for every morning, not as a chore, but as a mindful pause to re-anchor yourself. Over time, This daily recognition softens the edges of stress, rewires your brain toward resilience, and helps you meet life's challenges with a steadier heart. Gratitude is not a finish line, it's a practice, one you return to over and over, especially on the days it feels hardest. Because often, the smallest moments of appreciation can be the doorway back to peace, no matter what's happening outside. Sometimes the most profound changes happen not when we do more, but when we dare to pause. And so, we arrive at our final practice. Cultivating inner stillness, the quiet sanctuary you carry within, no matter what the world demands of you. In our noisy, overstimulated world, silence has become rare, and inner silence even rarer. Yet in Zen, it is seen as one of the most precious sources of energy. When the mind grows still, the surface ripples fade, and we begin to see the truth beneath. We hear the quiet voice of our inner wisdom, the one often drowned out by constant noise and endless to-do lists. This stillness is not about escaping life or avoiding responsibility. It's about clearing the static so that when life throws you into chaos, your first response isn't panic or impulse, but clarity. You begin to notice the space between a challenge and your reaction, and in that space lies your power to choose wisely. You don't need hours or a mountaintop to practice this. Start small, a few minutes each day, sitting without your phone, without music, without trying to fix anything. Simply rest with your breath, noticing how it rises and falls. At first, your mind will wander. That's natural. Each time, just return, gently as if guiding a child back home. Over time, this daily return builds an inner refuge, a place you can visit even when the outer world is loud and demanding. And when you nurture this stillness often enough, it becomes your default home. No matter where you are or what storms you face, you know exactly how to return. 8 practices woven together form more than just a list. They create a living path, a path walked by countless seekers for thousands of years, leading not to a life without storms, but to a heart that remains steady within them. You've seen each step, each teaching, and perhaps you've already felt a small shift, a loosening of the grip that overthinking and restlessness once had on you. The real question now is not whether these practices work. They have been proven for centuries, but whether you will choose to make them part of your life. Inner peace is not a gift that appears by chance. It is built breath by breath, choice by choice, moment by moment. So here's my invitation. Let this not just be another video you watch and forget. Let this be the day you begin. Imagine yourself 6 months from now, steadier, clearer, unshaken, because you decided today to practice. If this message speaks to you, write in the comments. I choose peace as a public promise to yourself and a signal to others walking the same path. And subscribe so we can keep walking together, sharing more wisdom, more stories, more ways to live with clarity and compassion. Peace doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It begins the moment you decide to meet life with an open heart. Why not now?